the girl. It's your girl, Anadia Spirit, the cosmic superstar. And we're here today to finally speak on, the moment we have all been waiting for, which is my testimony, my experience growing up as who you see today, and basically just giving you a whole, get to know me type of basis, background, so people can understand me a little bit more better and stuff like that, and the things that I have went through, growing up from the ruler to the motherfucking tutor or whatever, because it's like a lot of people can assume a lot of things about me and basically who I am and everything on the motherfucking third, but people do not have no fucking clue of who the fuck I am. And the experiences and the obstacles that I have overcame and faced, and that made me to be the warrior that I am today. I've been really trying to speaking my testimony, I was just really talking to myself saying I'm gonna hold it off to the right time and just wait until that moment, but it's no such thing as the right time. I feel like the right time is doing it now and just get it over with. Just start from somewhere and work your way up or whatever, because I just feel like this is way long overdue, and I feel like this most definitely needs to be spoken. It's time for me to finally speak what needs to be spoken on, finally. And I know it's gonna be a humongous amount of people that's going to relate to a lot of things that I've been through, but a lot of times the people that have went through similar experiences that I have been through is not able to process or understand the reasons why, things happen the way it happened, or why they've been through their traumas, or even unpacking and healing from their traumas, because they don't even know where to start or whatever. And I'm just here to really speak my story, to give the reassurance that you are not alone in your journey, in your experience. I have been through the shit too, I'm not gonna sit here and act like that everything is unicorns and Jolly Ranchers and rainbows and Candyland, because it's not, because I go through shit how everybody else is going through shit. I be having days where I'm confident in where my life is headed. I be having some days that it do not be a good day or whatever, and I be having some days where I don't even know where the fuck my life is headed. I don't even know a clue about what's about to happen, what's yet to come. But it's all valid. It's perfectly valid, because of the simple fact that a lot of times we love to have a sense of control over what's what's yet to happen in our lives and everything in the motherfucking sort. But I later have to really process and understand the deeper reasons of everything do not happen on your timing. Everything do not happen the way you want it to happen or whatever, and it's okay. It's okay if you do not know the answers. It's okay if you do not know the solutions at that time. It's okay if you do not know where your life is headed. And the thing about all of this shit is you always gotta have faith within you and really much understand that everything is gonna work out in your best favor, but everything always happens in divine timing, in the universe timing, not on your timing. It's the fact that a lot of people get frustrated. A lot of people, get really irritated because they just want to have control over the future and, what's yet to come. But a lot of times we are not sidekicks about what's about to happen in our lives and, the upcoming motherfucking moments. And that is okay. And it's okay to surrender to the divine unknown. It's okay to lean onto the universe and to lean on and use your intuition and to know that everything is always going to work out in your favor. No matter what situation, no matter how hard the obstacle is, no matter how hard the challenges that you go through, you always want to make the best out of every situation that you go through. You always want to alchemize and want to transmute everything to always be in your favor into, things you may not understand what you are going through now, but later throughout the line, you're going to understand why things happen the way it happened, because everything happens for a motherfucking reason within every motherfucking season. But just know that everything's going to be all right, that you're going to be all good, point blank period. This is just that reassurance, because a lot of times we need to have this type of reassurance. So, to always know that you are on the right track, because it be them sometimes that you feel like that you are alone in this, that, you don't know what's going on, you don't know what's yet to happen, you don't even know what's what or whatever. But to have these type of reassurance affirmations that, you know what I'm saying, everything is out of your motherfucking control. Like, I'ma always keep saying, but how you respond, and you know what I'm saying, the things that you manifest, the things that you do is based off your responsibility. So, you know what I'm saying, just let go of control and surrender and have faith into the divine unknown, because you came this motherfucking far. Like, the universe is not going to allow you to fail. The universe is preparing you and setting you up for success. Like, you came all this motherfucking way. You always want to keep going. Like, you're going to have your bad days. You're going to have your days where you just over it. You're going to have your good days. But you know what I'm saying? It's an experience. You know what I'm saying? Just always know to always trust the process through it all, because later throughout that motherfucking line, it's all going to make sense of why everything happened the way it motherfucking happened. So yes, it's finally time to finally speak my testimony and every single thing that I have been through, like all the trauma, you know what I'm saying, all the beautiful parts, all the ugliest parts in my whole entire life experience. And this, I don't even know how this shit is going to go, because now I'm unpacking my own damn life and I'm really much being vulnerable and being open to everybody about my fucking experience and from all the shit that I have motherfucking been through, from motherfucking being a motherfucking infant to being a child, being a teenager to being an adult, and just like going through my evolution phases and just like really much keeping it 100 and keeping it raw, unfiltered, because it's not fair to, you know what I'm saying, give y'all type of esoteric information and all this if I haven't even spoke my testimony, if I haven't even spoke my truth, I haven't allowed for y'all to get to know the real me or whatever. And I'm not gonna lie, like, speaking on a lot of this experience, it's gonna be hard for me to speak on and have to relive a lot of this shit. Like, I'm still healing. Like, every day is healing. Like, healing is not motherfucking stop. I just hope speaking my story can really help people. I'm talking about tremendously help people and inspire people, and you know what I'm saying, give people that type of motivation and understanding that you are not alone in your journey. You're not alone of what you've been through. Like, what you've been through will not be in silence. That you have a right to always speak your truth. I'm talking about at all motherfucking times. And that you can heal from what you've been through and overcome everything that, because you are not a victim, you are a conqueror in everything that you face or whatever. But before I start this video and really speak my testimony, can y'all make sure, if y'all are interested in my channel, can y'all make sure that y'all like, comment on this video, and subscribe to my channel. And if you are returning, welcome family. And if you are new here, welcome, because I welcome everybody in open arms and things to the motherfucking things. And can y'all make sure that y'all hit that notification bell? Wherever that notification bell is at, I'm gonna need you to hit that motherfucking shit, because you do not want to miss out on this interesting, informative ass content. Now let's get right to the testimony. So this shit right here, y'all. Now we about to get into the meat and motherfucking potatoes. Just, oh my God. So, it's just like, I don't even know where to start, but I'm going to start from somewhere. So, I was born in Chicago along with 3 older brothers and a half older sister. Happy transcendence to my sister, because my sister passed like years ago, but I'm going to get into a later topic about that. But in the beginning of, you know what I'm saying, when I was a baby, I grew up with a 2-parent household, but that was like really short, temporary, because, you know what I'm saying, my mom and my dad was married, but when I came in the picture, they was in the midst of having a divorce because of little situations that was going on, marital problems, you know how that shit goes. So basically, they was going through their divorce era, and this around the time I was like 1 or 2, so they was arguing a lot, you know what I'm saying? So eventually my dad moved, and basically my mom moved us, me and my 3 older brothers, and we moved to the south suburbs, and that's where basically I grew up from, you know what I'm saying, like I think 3 or 4 years old, and we stayed in the suburbs until, you know what I'm saying, my brother graduated from high school and then went to college, but I stayed until like 13 or 14 because I relocated and I moved to my grandparents' house. But I'm gonna get into a deep dive later throughout the next video or whatever, because I'm gonna separate this and divide it into different parts, different chapters or whatever. So this is basically like my baby, my infant stage, until, you know, me growing up to a child or whatever. So basically, backstory on me. I was a rebel child. I was like really much all over the place, you know what I'm saying, ripping the raws. But, you know what I'm saying, I was very free spirited, you know what I'm saying. I didn't give a fuck about what nobody had to say. I was just having fun and just like really much being a child. Like I was into cartoons, you know, so I was into toys. I had a very overactive imagination, you know what I'm saying, when I was a baby.
So I forgot to add a part when I was speaking on this. Is the biggest thing about me is I was a very, very curious child, and basically I was questioning everything down boots, and that was like a really big issue that my mom had in me, because she was that type that she always wanted everybody to go with the program and, you know, go with the script, whatever. And basically I will question her down to the point like every single little thing, like, why is y'all creating a script? I would ask, like, I would just ask a lot of shit, and she used to get like super irritated with me, like to the point like she be trying to yell at me, try to scold me, and just try to do everything in her power just to basically, you know what I'm saying, like, go the fuck in. My brothers used to always side with her when I started to ask so many questions. And just basically they used to get mad at me and try to, like, you know what I'm saying, go in on me as well for just asking just simple questions. And when it just came to like when we go to our grandparents' house, they be like on a type of timing where basically they be on script and they be watching what they say, and they don't be giving me no type of memo. So I just be saying like just like truthful stuff, like honest things, like nothing inappropriate, but it just be things that they be trying to sweep under the rug, that I just rip that rug apart and just let it all open with. And they used to always get mad at me at that. Now it's just like no matter what, like they always used to find reasons to always go against me and always try to odd me out. It's just like that was just my whole entire basic upbringing, just being around them and just living with them, just like a continuous thing, just like continuous like pattern of just growing up with these type of people.
I recall so many memories of me just having like fun, just like no matter where I was, I always had fun. Like I'm not gonna lie, like I was the life of the party or whatever. Like me and my brothers like grew up playing video games, and you know what I'm saying, go outside and just playing. And you know, once in a blue moon, like probably like every other Saturday, my dad used to take me and my brothers to my grandparents' house on my dad's side, and that's what be all my other cousins, you know what I'm saying? It'd be like events and parties that we had. It'd bring us around, child, we was lit. Like we had a ball, like, child. It was fun, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna lie, like that part of that childhood that I remember, it was just like dope. It was like really much phenomenal because I wasn't even paying attention of me. I was just worried about just like having fun and just doing me. You know what I'm saying? Just doing what kids do at that motherfucking time. But as I started to grow up, like say around like 3 or 4 or 5 or whatever, like these was motherfucking times where I wasn't paying attention to my surroundings, but I was mind you, like my brothers were so big on music, like, you know, like every day, like every day they always play music. They always blast like rap, R&B, you know what I'm saying, everything in the motherfucking sort. And a lot of times that we used to watch 106 in Park or whatever. And y'all know what 106 in Park is. Like y'all know that motherfucking thing. Like that was a whole thing for us. Like we always tune into 106 in Park, always watch music videos or whatever. And this, that, and the motherfucking third with a hot flaming bag of chips on a motherfucking side, child. But I remember this one type of experience, mind you, like I knew about a lot of artists, you know what I'm saying, a lot of celebrities. I didn't know nothing about Hollywood or whatever. I was just like really much seeing a lot of these music videos of a lot of these artists, and you know what I'm saying, me vibing to their songs or whatever. But it was this one music video I'll never forget, y'all. It was a Beyonce. And basically, it was the Crazy in Love music video. And once, I think that was like the first debut of the music video that they aired on One Assisted Park. And y'all, like, I got my life. Like, when I tell you, something in me just deeply resonated with a lot of feminine artists, a lot of female artists, like female songs. But I was so drawn deeply into female artists and their songs, and I'm talking about aesthetics and everything on the motherfuckers. I was so heavily inspired by feminine culture, and it was just like from the hair, from the clothes to how women, you know what I'm saying? It was just like beyond like celebrity female. It was like the females that's in my family. I was just so inspired by every female that I came across because I resonated heavy with women. Like it don't even matter who you was. Like I always had a deep admiration and a deep respect for women because it just deeply resonated for me. Like it resonated in my soul. So as a child and not being aware of, because I was always me, like I wasn't aware of how I acted or, you know, say my main reasons or whatever, but you know what I'm saying, me just coming out the portal, just coming out the womb, I was always feminine, like to the way I walk, to the way I talk. So like everything, like my whole main reason was very, very feminine, and you know, so I didn't have no idea that I was deep into my feminine energy, like straight like that. So basically seeing Beyonce and just seeing all these other like Sierras, the Rihannas, and you know what I'm saying, the Carrie Hilsons, and like the Nicki Minaj's, like all of them even more, like it was just like a certain type of part where I felt connected towards them. Like it gave me a deep type of inspiration to, you know what I'm saying, express my femininity and express my fluidity. It activated a certain part in me to basically like to allow myself to be comfortable in how I acted. Even though I wasn't aware, but you know, it gave me the validation. So, you know what I'm saying, that who I am is who I am and how I express is how I express. Because I'm seeing so much dominant, I'm talking about like alpha female energies coming from these celebrity artists or whatever, and you know what I'm saying, that just sparked something deep within me to basically become that, to be that, to embody that or whatever. But you know how this shit goes, especially me being a presented boy at this time. So, you know what I'm saying, I'm not aware of the gender roles, I'm not aware of the standards that, you know what I'm saying, my families and their families have lived by and they enforce on to, you know what I'm saying, later generations or whatever. So basically I just grew up at a certain point where, you know, I felt comfortable in my femininity, but you know what I'm saying, my brothers, my mom, you know what I'm saying, everybody for the most part, majority of people for the most part, you know what I'm saying, they thought otherwise. So a lot of them times, imagine, like my dad's not in the picture. It's like my mom at this point is a single mom. Like we live with our mom for the most part, and then a lot of times on weekends she'll take us to our grandparents' house, and that's where my mom's sister, my auntie, lived with my grandparents. This is all on my mom's side. So basically, everybody thought otherwise. Everybody felt uncomfortable to the ideas of me expressing my femininity, so you know what I'm saying, fluidity, so openly or whatever, because they so indoctrinated that boys have to, you know what I'm saying, do this and do that and be this and been that, all these characteristics and stereotypes of how men's supposed to be and how women's supposed to be, and it can never intersect with one another because it would be a threat to the binary system that the white people impose onto our people to be and, you know what I'm saying, express and become or whatever. So, you know what I'm saying, I'm starting to peep that it's early conflict, but you know what I'm saying, at this time I am a child. I'm not aware of the binary system, the gender roles, and everything on the motherfucker that comes with that, and basically that it was just like my mom would always try to police me and basically shame me for expressing my femininity. So these are like the earlier stages or whatever, but at this time I'm not aware. But later throughout the motherfucking line, I'm starting to really pick up that, you know what I'm saying, a lot of things that she was motherfucking doing or whatever. So basically my brothers will feel uncomfortable, you know what I'm saying, because they was masculine and they fit the binary system and basically they lived up to them standards or whatever, or what it means to be a man. But you know what I'm saying, that was the case for me at all.
So more backstory on my mom. I want to make sure I get everything covered so y'all can have a brief type of understanding of how everybody is. So with her, she was literally the most fakest person ever. Like to be in her space, she'll be all nice and kiki with you, and she seemed genuine. But the minute that you turn your back, you was the talk of the town. You was like the topic of her conversations. Like she would talk about you like a motherfucking dog, and she did that to a lot of people that we was always. It doesn't matter your family, associates, whatever. She used to talk bad about everybody and their motherfucking mamas, and she had this type of thing. Like she acted like her shit do not stink. She acted real bougie, really cocky, and she acted like she was above, like she couldn't do no wrong. She couldn't really like. She was just a holy, holier than thou type of motherfucking person. And it was just like she was just like off. Like everything about her was just like pathetic and weird. And basically, it's just like I was peeping that as I was growing up, but stay tuned because this all gonna make sense into chapter 2 and the later chapters of who she really is.
So it was conflict between me and my brothers. Like me and my brothers we was able to have fun or whatever, but you know what I'm saying, for the most part, when it just be me, just always being me, it's just naturally at this motherfucking point. They always used to, it's like low key make certain comments, you know, certain facial expressions that they are uncomfortable with me expressing my femininity, that I do not fit into this box. And they used to motherfucking, like, really much odd me out for not fitting into the status quo or whatever. They always just shame me for liking more of female artists and favoring more female artists and female figures or whatever more than male figures and artists or whatever. Like they used to shame me for not watching sports, so, you know what I'm saying, not getting into what males, you know what I'm saying, do or whatever on an everyday motherfucking note.
To add extra backstory that I forgot to add, you know what I'm saying, film this video, is the fact that my household basically was like very homophobic. Like my brothers always used to throw like gay slurs, like all like the F word, all of that motherfucking shit, and they used to go with like really like sprout them words to me and like call me a lot of gay slurs as well as another way. And that was at this time, like we was taught basically, you know what I'm saying, that, you know what I'm saying, being gay was not right and all of this and the third. And just basically it was always a taboo subject that was never to be spoken of in that household. And my mom did not even play that shit when it came to that. Like she was on like some type of, it's just like, well, it's the forbidden type of topic to ever speak. And mind you, I have gay cousins on my mom's side, and later I'm gonna talk about Florida a little bit, but they was like feminine men, and basically a lot of people knew that they was gay, but they was the type that, you know what I'm saying, it's like, you know, with people like Tyler Perry, like people assume that he's straight, but the whole time you could just tell he gay as hell by his mannerisms and all that motherfucking shit. Like you would just automatically just tell. It was kind of like people was acting really delusional in the family. I'm talking about majority like male on my mom's side, but when it came to like my dad, he didn't play that shit because mind you, he a pastor. I'm gonna get into a deep dive with him on the second chapter, but he was a wannabe pastor, and basically it was like one time that we was at his crib or whatever, and then mind you, he had a lot of movies that we basically watched, a lot of video games and stuff. And it was this one movie called if y'all familiar, I will pronounce you Chuck and Larry, I think, with Adam Sandler and that dude from King of the Hill. And basically he caught me and my brothers watching that one night, and he literally, I guess he warned us not to watch it, and we watched it anyway. So as we was watching it, he took the DVD out, and he started to break the disc with his bare hands and like crush the disc. And I'm looking like, was it really that necessary? It's never that damn serious. Like it was like, child, it was really much rageful type of action when it just came to that type of topics and conversations and all of that in the bag of chips. Like my family was just like very weird when it came to like gay people and trans people and all of that. Like they looked at them like they some foreign eye alien freak shows at this motherfucking point. So it was just like I'm adding a lot of this for you to make sense of the later chapters of what's about to yet to happen. So just a little brief backstory, and yeah.
So that left a division between me and my brothers and my mom, and then mind you, my grandparents. It's like everybody, for the most part, that I lived with at this time, it just like create a whole type of division from basically on here on motherfucking out, to be honest. But now we're working our way up to, you know what I'm saying, stages. Well, I'm starting to now low-key pay attention. This is probably like 6 or 7 or whatever. This is when I was going to school or whatever. So this when I was going to first grade and second grade or whatever. So I'm starting to peep that basically if, you know what I'm saying, if we go to like a very fancy event or whatever, and you know what I'm saying, we all get dressed up and you know what I'm saying, me and my brother always have to wear suits or whatever. I always felt uncomfortable wearing suits. And basically when I see like girls wearing dresses, you know what I'm saying, look all dolled up or whatever, I deeply resonated with that because I felt myself basically, you know what I'm saying, feeling comfortable being in a dress and being all dolled up or whatever in this suit shit. It just felt like, it felt trash. Like it felt very much restricted. It felt really much, I felt heavily uncomfortable being in a motherfucking suit at this time. So I always used to dislike going to fancy events or going to church and, you know what I'm saying, going to these motherfucking things where you required to dress up or whatever, because I just couldn't stand for the life of me of wearing suits. It just did not resonate at all. Like, what the fuck? This is like around the time where Cheetah Girls came out, and everybody named Mamas know what Cheetah Girls is. Like, Cheetah Girls was my childhood. Cheetah Girls was literally nostalgic for me, like something very monumental for me, because that was another motherfucking thing where I felt so deep a resonation like towards my femininity or whatever, to always be myself at all times and be comfortable within me regardless of what the outsiders gotta motherfucking say. Like that was just like, that's when I was so deep into my imaginations, you know what I'm saying, just always, you know what I'm saying, seeing myself being a girl or whatever. Like this shit, like me being me at this point, like it was nothing new. Like it was something that I always was, but I just did not have the type of awareness or the type of information, you know what I'm saying. I knew it was something different about me, but I just couldn't put my finger on it because I'm young at this motherfucking point. So it was just something that I just had to go with the flow or whatever. It's something I just have to just wait it out or whatever. Like it was times where that my brothers used to pick on me and to try to like insult me by shaming me of being feminine, and you know, saying my feminine characteristics or whatever, and the things that I love and enjoy and resonate deeply with the most or whatever. And you know what I'm saying, I didn't really take it as an insult because the simple motherfucking fact that I fuss with this shit, this type of shit that I motherfucking like, and it makes me happy. Like it makes my soul happy. So you can make all the motherfucking like misogynistic comments and the femininity comments or whatever. Like I don't give no fuck, because the motherfucking fact that that's not motherfucking changing me at all. That's not doing shit for me at this motherfucking point. So talk away or whatever. So mind you, like me and my first oldest brother had shared the same room or whatever, and mind you, my two other brothers, they was twins, so, and basically they shared their own room with themselves or whatever. So I might have to give them names, especially throughout these next later videos or whatever. So my first oldest brother, we're gonna call my first oldest brother Chad, and basically my twin brothers, we're gonna call my two twin brothers Nick and Rick. And mind you, like me and Chad, like we never really seen eye to eye. Like we had our own differences about, you know what I'm saying, just everything as motherfucker. Like we was like literally the complete opposite. So a lot of times me and Chad used to get in fights, especially being in the same room with one another or whatever. And basically I used to get in fights with Nick and Rick a lot, motherfuckers too, especially when Chad graduated from high school and went to college. Like I was at war with my brothers. I was at war. Like, it was just, like, straight up. Like, we had our good times or whatever. But for the most part, it was always bumping heads. Like, it was kind of like, if we disagreed with something, that we was gonna go straight to war. I'm talking about, like, we going all out with this motherfucker shit being in this house. Mind you, my mom is always consistently at work, so it was just basically always me and my brothers be in the house or whatever. I do recall this one memory that it was basically one night where to basically keep it a buck with y'all, my oldest brother Chad, he molested me. And this is like around the time where I was 6. And mind you, like, my oldest brother is like, because I was born in 97, he was born in 91. So if I was 6 at that time, he was around like 12 or 13. And mind you, like, my twin brothers, they in their own motherfucking room. They sound asleep. And basically, he was asking me to do things to him or whatever. And mind you, I'm young and I'm very naive. So I was a child. So for the simple motherfucking fact that.
So to get into a little deep dive about, you know what I'm saying, when my brother molested me, basically, he was wanting me to, you know, do sexual things with him. And mind you, I'm very young. And he was bribing me. That was another thing I forgot to add. He was bribing me to do things to him, and basically if I do it, then he's going to give me this, like, let's say like candy or just like a certain object that, you know what I'm saying, I really want, or like that little type of sick manipulation shit. Like, he was just saying like, let's do this and all of this, and basically I'll give you this in exchange or whatever. And I just did not have no type of clue, like, anything he was like really much making me do or whatever. And it was just like, after that, I was just heavily confused. I never processed that. It's just recently now I actually really just genuinely processed that whole entire part of my life that I just hid away, and I just hid like in the deepest, darkest parts of my subconscious. And it just plays a deep role into the reasons why, like, I reacted the way I reacted when it comes to later events, you know what I'm saying, just going to school and just like, you know what I'm saying, as we piggybacking, as we, you know, unpacking even more and more, because this type of shit was literally something that I really hid away, something that I was literally confused. It was just very hard to process. I didn't ever even understand how deeply traumatic of the things that he did to me when I was like at that young age. Like, child, it's very sick just like sitting back and just thinking about it. And it's like one of the most challenging things to ever even speak on when it came to like talking about my life and all of this. It's even more fucked up shit like laid throughout the motherfucking line, but this is like the straw that broke the camel motherfucking back. But just give me a little backstory on that type of shit.
So right after that traumatic situation, it was something that was swept under the rug or whatever. Like, he never spoke on that ever since all that happened. And it was something that basically I was so exposed to at a very early young age. Like, I really genuinely did not understand how much that can really take a psychological deep impact on, you know what I'm saying, the way that you process relationships. I'm talking about romantic relationships, friendships, and like everything that comes with that. And basically it was just something that was never even spoken of after that. It was something that was so deeply swept under the rug. It was something that I always remember in the back of my head of basically what happened to me or whatever. And basically Chad pretending to act like nothing happened after that. And basically it was like Chad just now had an issue with me. Like, he always used to always find an issue with everything that I did, especially with the femininity, like it was the most like biggest issue and problem for him, especially with my twin brothers. Like they always used to gang up on me and always try to find me to be the problem child. It was like basically everything that went wrong, no matter what happened or situation, I was always the blame and I was always the scapegoat. So it was also easily to be blamed. Also easily to have the finger point at, and basically they can just like get away with just basically anything because they fit the binary. I'm talking about they fit basically what my mom expects them to basically be or whatever. So they was able to get away with a lot of things. Like granted, like it was certain situations where I got into an argument wise with my brothers, and my mom, she nipped it in the bud or whatever when it came to me, but on like other than that, they was not held accountable for basically nothing that they motherfucking did. But if it's something that I did, basically all hell break loose, and my mom will literally hold me accountable for literally everything that I motherfucking do. And I never even really like paid attention to a lot of this shit that was going on because, mind you, like I'm still a child. I'm not aware of my surroundings. I'm just worried about having fun or whatever, even though like very, very psychological traumatic situation that happened to me, it was like something that I just kept in the back of my mind. And I never told my mom. Like I never told nobody at the motherfucking times because I just didn't really understand. Mind you, I'm young at this motherfucking point. So it was just something that I just left on the motherfucking side and just continue with my motherfucking day, continue with my motherfucking life or whatever. So now we're fast forwarding and now basically just around, say 8, 9, and 10. And basically this is around the time, I think I was like 2nd grade or 3rd grade or whatever. And basically being in school or whatever, I was very quiet. I had people I was cool with or whatever. I was shy, but if I wanted to talk, I'm going to talk. So it's like I had people that I talked with, but for the most part, I was always quiet. I was always to myself. And that left a lot of students to always wonder about me and basically like question me like, say what's up with me, like what's going on with me, whatever. But a lot of times I always used to engage, in a lot of conversation with other kids, whatever. But it was a certain thing where I was so sexual, like especially with the boys my age, like right after what that was done to me, it was just something I was wanting to do again, especially I was like had a very early attraction with boys at this motherfucking time, like very, very early, like it was like very strong at this point, but I never act out on it, but it was kind of like I felt like I was over sexualizing a lot of boys my age at this motherfucking time. I never confronted it to them, but it was just like every boy that I came across, like I instantly get turned on, I instantly get attracted to or whatever. So I really kept the urges to myself or whatever, and just like really much going with the flow of everything. And then mind you, like my mom had a boyfriend at this motherfucking time, like around, I think when I was like 8, 9, when I started 8. That's when her boyfriend started coming around, and then it was basically like her boyfriend's family was our family. Like we grew up. It was kind of like even like when we was younger, when I was younger, like a baby, that we came around her boyfriend's family. So basically his family was our family or whatever. So, and I think I gotta give him a name. So we gonna call him Chris. So we gonna call the boyfriend Chris. So Chris and my mom, they knew I think they went to prom when she was in high school. It was a prom picture of her and basically my auntie and Chris's brother or whatever. So basically everybody knew. It's like basically my family on each side, mom and dad side, and basically even my mom current boyfriend at this time all knew each other because they all grew up around each other, all went through the same motherfucking school when they was in Chicago or whatever. So everybody knows everybody at this point. So basically Chris was staying around or whatever. Now it was kind of like more like full time, but Chris never had a job, and Chris would always just stay in the house with us or whatever. And mind you, we going to school or whatever, but a lot of times Chris would always be at home just like doing him or whatever. And it was like a lot of times that Chris had kids or whatever, so Chris always so basically Chris was co-parenting with his baby mom as well. So basically his son always came around us. So when his son came around, it was always lit or whatever. Like when his daughter came around, it was always lit as well. And you know what I'm saying? Basically their cousins was our cousins. So basically we all now getting familiar at this time. Mind you, like it's like we all little at this point, we all young. So basically it was just a lot of times where it used to be parties where a lot of Chris family come over to my mom's house, and you know what I'm saying, it'd be barbecue events or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm playing with basically at this point my cousins, Chris family or whatever, and we all having a ball at this motherfucking point. So we're fast forwarding because it was nothing really at this point really stood out to me in my childhood, but I feel like the real shit, like the real fuck shit really started, y'all, is around the time where Chris left the picture. Chris left the picture around the time where I graduated from 8th grade or whatever, because now a veil been lifted from him, because now at this point, which I now realized that he was a freeloader. You know, so he had his own business. I let him have that. He had his own business. He had his own restaurant, his barbecue restaurant. But basically, he was not helping my mom with shit. Like, he basically was using my mom as a free rent and a free, basically, service to stay and lay his head at or whatever. And not really, like, support my mom with nothing at this point. So basically, my mom and him basically broke up, whatever. And then, mind you, like, it was, my dad basically had his own apartment or whatever, and he had his wife or whatever. So basically, on every weekend, around these times where it's, 6 to 8, and you know what I'm saying, when I'm a child, before when I hit the age of 10 or 11 or whatever, like we always consistently go to his apartment on the weekends or whatever, and have spend time with him and my stepmom or whatever. It was good times. But you know what I'm saying, that was starting to become at an end or whatever around the time where I graduated 8th grade, and now I'm now emerging into high school or whatever. And mind you, like, I always had my interests, especially this is around the beginning times where I was so into Gaga. Like, I really loved Lady Gaga at this point. Like, I've been like really much onto her ever since when she first came out, and like I've been like really much following her career from the ruler to the suitor. So basically I was so deeply into her music, into her interviews, her performances, everything. I was like really deep into Gaga at this point. So I need for y'all to keep this shit in mind when it came to her or whatever. So 8th grade, you know what I'm saying, now I'm having a little brief of awareness about a lot of things that is going on around me. Not that deep until, when I turned the age of 14, but it was kind of like working its way up or whatever. So this around time, like, again, like, I grew up, always enjoyed playing Sims. Like, Sims, I love the fuck out of Sims. I'm gonna need y'all to keep this shit in mind. It was kind of like, I was interested in a lot of motherfucking things that, my brothers love to play Sims too. But, you know what I'm saying, they always love playing a 2K, you know what I'm saying, Grand Theft Auto, and, you know what I'm saying, other motherfucking shit. Mind you, like, I play games with them too, like 2K and all this other motherfucking sort, but I have my own shit that I was always interested in playing or whatever. And also, again, around these times, I was interested in, virtual worlds, and, always playing like virtual world games or whatever. So basically I was on to a lot of these motherfucking virtual world websites. Y'all know what I'm talking about, at the motherfucking times where they be having these things where you create your own character and basically you can mingle with other people that's, got their own shit going on in these virtual worlds. I'm having a lit time, being on the internet, accessing YouTube or whatever, and just doing everything of the 9 yards or whatever. And mind you, like, my mom, she didn't have a problem with the things that I was interested in. I think around time 6th, 7th, 8th grade, like, she was okay with me playing Sims. Like, basically, I used to always brag to her about Gaga too, and she didn't really mind it at this motherfucking time, at this point. And basically, I think like 8th grade, when she fell back from Chris or whatever, and mind you, I wasn't aware of my mannerisms. I was not aware of my sexuality at this motherfucking point. Like that was something that I never really had a conversation with myself, or never even confronted to myself at these motherfucking times or whatever. But I did recall having thoughts of, it was just like 6th grade, 7th grade. Like I was attracted to me. I was attracted to boys, especially more so 8th grade. I was just so deep. It was like a deep urge of attraction with males at this motherfucking time, but I never confronted at this point. I always kept it to myself. But you know what I'm saying, I was just going through, you know what I'm saying, middle school shit. I'm gonna get into a later deep dive about what happened in middle school. I don't wanna get too deep into the shit because I just felt like it's not really important when it came to my testimony, whatever. But one thing that really stood out to me is that a lot of people, a lot of my classmates or whatever, like pretty much everybody in the school at this point, always knew it was something interesting about me, especially with my sexuality and my mannerisms or whatever. So I had a lot of people confronting me, asking me if I was gay or whatever, and I always used to decline and obviously say no, like I'm not, like I'm straight or whatever. But I didn't, because I never really confronted to myself of what I'm attracted to and who I am or whatever. So basically, I just gave people the runaround, whatever. I'm like, I'm straight, basically. Nothing to be worried about, nothing to be asked or whatever, nothing to be curious about, like, or whatever at this point. So now I graduated 8th grade. And this is around the time where Chris out the picture, and basically my mom is single at this motherfucking point. So backstory on my mom, like, she's not the type to mingle around with other people or whatever, just talking with other men, but it was this one particular man that she had met. And mind you, like, I know, like, I'm saying a lot of mind you, whatever, but bear with me, y'all, because it's all gonna make sense. Like, every year, like every summer, from when I was a baby leading up to, I think, like 8th grade or whatever, we always used to go to Florida because the mom's side of my family mostly always lived in Florida. So every summer we used to go straight to Florida, especially Tallahassee. And basically, once we meet up with my family in Tallahassee, we always go straight to Orlando. And we have a ball. We'd be lit, Disney World, Universal Studios, everything, y'all, everything. So now it was like, I think that previous year when we was going to Florida, she met this guy on a plane or whatever, and they sat right next to each other, and we're gonna call him Eric. So basically, Eric, he is an older guy. Like, he really much, when I say older, like, he is really up there. Like, he could be my grandfather at this point, how old he was. Like, he wasn't old, but I think around the time when they first met, like, he was like late 50s and early 60s or whatever. So basically, I guess my mom took a liking with him or whatever, and basically, they was hitting it off in that plane, but mind you, like, my mom was still with Chris at this time. So basically, I guess Eric left my mom his number in case that she was ever interested or whatever. So basically, by the time I graduated, I'm talking about early year, 8th grade. We're talking about 8th grade here. Chris and her fell apart. This around the time that my mom now wants to reconnect with Eric right now. And basically, they start now going to dates or whatever. This is all leading up to the point of my graduation. They having dates or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Now at this point, now my mom's starting to bring Eric around with me and my brothers or whatever. And basically, we started to, you know, not get to know him, but get a brief introduction of him or whatever. And it's kind of like she's working her way up with him or whatever. And it came to a motherfucking point that it was a certain point that we spent the night at his apartment or whatever, Eric's apartment or whatever. And after I graduated, now my mom is allowing Eric to now move into the household. And mind you, she met Eric, she started to rekindle with Eric in February. My graduation was in May. So that whole motherfucking span, like they was having a little on and off dates or whatever. Now, right after I graduated, now he's officially moving in to the house. They haven't even met over a motherfucking year. They just now, it was like months, man, and now it's now starting to really seem like she was like basically wanting, because Eric was really telling her, I guess one day my mom told me that basically he want to help out with the household and basically pitching in so she won't have to do everything on her own, because she always at work and basically she always cooking. She always got to do everything. So basically I just felt like she wanted him to stay and move in so fast because I feel like she was using him for the benefits. It was love for him, but it was more so that benefit. So little did I know, I was kind of like peeping the red flags of Eric moving in so motherfucking fast. But you know what I'm saying? We're going with the flow. So now, backstory on Eric. You know, he's an older guy, so basically he's old school. Like he's very much coming to an era where he was very strict, like very, very strict, stern, Capricorn. He always takes shit to the extreme, overly serious for no motherfucking reason. He uphold the binary system. He kept that shit to heart. Like he always wants to embody toxic masculinity and enforce some ideals of toxic masculinity onto my brothers. Because mind you, my oldest brother Chad was now graduated or whatever. He's in college now when he came in the picture. So it's basically like it was basically me, Rick and Nick that was still in the household, and then Rick and Nick, they eventually about to graduate, go to prom, and you know, say go to college, their own motherfucking damn selves. And now we're getting to know Eric, but Eric at this motherfucking point, we're seeing the nice side of him, and because you know how this always goes, like you see the nice versions of people, the good versions, and then when they get comfortable with you, you're gonna start to see their true colors. That's basically what happened with Eric. Like, Eric was cool at a motherfucking point, but now it's getting to a motherfucking point now. He's showing his ass really early. And now, I clash with Eric because, you know what I'm saying, my feminine ass. He was starting to peep as well of my main rhythms and the things that I was interested in, that, you know what I'm saying, things that I love. And now I'm starting to be aware at this motherfucking point now. Everybody had an issue with everything I do at this motherfucking point. Anything that I do, anything that I love to do, it was now an issue. It was now a problem. But everything else that they like to do, it was just like water under the motherfucking bridge. Like nobody got shit to say. And I recall it was one time where my mom, it was like I was so big into Nickelodeon, and if y'all remember Big Time Rush, I had a crush on Big Time Rush at this point, but I never told my mom about that shit. But it was one time I wanted an album from them or whatever, and I was asking my mom, like, can I get this album or whatever, and she said, well, see, whatever. So it was kind of like, I think I asked her again, and basically I guess she said no. And you know what I'm saying, me as being a little kid, I'm like, why? Like, why can't I get this album or whatever? Like, why send me everything I want? Like, I was asking this shit too. I wasn't aware that everything that I did was a problem, but I was kind of like, why the things that I want, you always decline so motherfucking fast, but every time my brothers want something, you, with an instant, you get that motherfucking shit. Cause she literally told me straight up, y'all, like, she said everything I want is gay. Like, everything that I want to her is gay at this point. And basically, I noted that motherfucker. I noted. I let that as a mental note. Like, I didn't say shit after that. I didn't say nothing. I just kept that in mind. Like, oh, like, I'm not understanding this shit because I'm not having the awareness. I was younger, like 6th grade, 7th grade, but I'm like, I'm peeping, whatever. So fast forward into the 8th grade or whatever, and me emerging into high school. So basically, when I emerged to high school, my brothers went to college, so it was basically me, Eric, and my mom. So now this is where the bullshit begins. This is where the trauma starts to really reap its ugly ass motherfucking head. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna leave it at this motherfucking note. I'm gonna save all of the traumatic, I'm talking about monkey business, I'm talking about just hot ass, garbage ass mess shit for part 2, because I just done said them out motherfucking full. I just gave you a brief synopsis and introduction of basically me, you know what I'm saying, growing up childhood wise, and you know what I'm saying, working my way up. So, you know what I'm saying, the end of middle school, but you know what I'm saying, I'm just saying everything on a different motherfucking note. But you know what I'm saying, I thank y'all for, you know what I'm saying, watching the part 1, the chapter 1 of my testimony series or whatever. Tremendously thank y'all for y'all genuine, you know what I'm saying, unconditional support and love.
So basically, my camera died as I was filming the rest of the ending or whatever. But I didn't really feel like making another clip of that. So I'm gonna just like leave it at this note. You know what I'm saying? I thank y'all for watching. I thank y'all for hearing my testimony, the part chapter 1. You know what I'm saying? Stay in tune for the next chapter. Stay in tune with my later content videos. You know what I'm saying? I always love y'all. I just wish y'all to always have an abundant, prosperous, just like infinite, beautiful day on here on out. And you know what I'm saying? I'll catch y'all on the flip side, and I'll talk to y'all later. I love y'all. Mwah.